From Husky Stadium on the campus of Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Sports Vision presents the 1988 Illinois Governor's Cup Soccer Tournament. This afternoon, Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville takes on the Huskies of Northern Illinois. You're looking at Husky Stadium. This is the 17th edition of the Governor's Cup, and it's quite an interesting tournament. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Liederman along with Peter Manos. We have got Eastern, Northern, Southern, and Western Illinois all together. They played the first round last night, with Western losing to Northern Illinois by a score of 5-0. The Huskies getting back on track after a couple of shaky performances that we've seen them play, Peter.
Well, Northern exploded for 5 goals, and I think Husky fans would have liked to have seen some of those happen against DePaul, but they certainly lit the lamp, as the saying goes. Carson Roy had a couple of goals. That's his first time in the scoring column, and Marcus Roy, the goalkeeper, played on the midfield, so we had some twists there in that game.
Willie Roy shaking him up. We asked Willie before this game what it'll take to beat a team like Southern Illinois at Edwardsville.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we're going to have to do with SIU Edwardsville, we played them early on in the season, and they're certainly a very aggressive team. And I think what's going to be important is that we cannot be intimidated by they'll fight for every 50-50 ball extremely hard. And I think we're going to have to be on our toes and be the first ones to move to the ball.
Well, as far as Northern Illinois' work is concerned, it will, as the folks say, be cut out for it, because Southern Illinois Edwardsville, take your pick, is either ranked 15 or 17 in the country and number 2 here in the Midwest.
Well, they're a perennial power. Coach Ed Honeke really has a good club this year, as usual. They've won 7 Governor's Cups in the past to match Eastern's 7 titles, and they're always a force to be reckoned with.
Well, how is Ed Honeke going to deal with Northern? We asked him before the game.
We opened the season with a 2-1 victory over Northern at our place, and it was really a close game. I was very impressed with them, and now that we're up here at Northern, I expect it to be even more of a battle. They feel very confident about being able to take us on, and with us being highly ranked, it'll mean a lot to them. So this will be a difficult game, but we have been playing well, and hopefully we'll be able to continue that kind of success.
As you heard Ed Honeke say, the first game between these two, the opener for Northern, was really a tussle, with Southern winning, but by a score of 2-1. Tough game for Northern.
That's right. Northern came through with a good performance, and again, it was a season opener. So I'm sure Ed Honeke was happy with a win there. He's expecting a real fight here, as he mentioned. I think Willie thinks his guys can beat him.
The man in the nets for the Cougars of Southern Illinois is Steve Range, and Range, a pretty good keeper. He's played every minute of every game so far this season.
Right. He's been the man in the nets for Southern. He's got a 1.4 goals against, I believe, Mike, which is good. It's not world class, but it's good. They've always been strong defensively. SIU is always known for a good defensive club, and it's going to be hard for Northern to crack that defense.
A very young team, too. A lot of sophomores, only one senior, and that senior is Range. That's for Southern. For Northern, well, we're going to look to Carson Roy, because Carson Roy, after playing back at stopper and sweeper, was moved up to the midfield, as Peter said, only responded with 2 goals. Not a bad night for anybody, including Pelé.
Not bad at all. We were kidding him before the match about him being the new Pelé. I think Willie feels his weakness has been in the midfield, and that's why he brought Karsten in and got 2 goals out of it. Now we'll see what happens today. Marcus is going to be back in goal. Jeff Tweedell will be in goal for Northern, so should be interesting.
And we will see how interesting it will be when we come back with the kickoff here in DeKalb. Stay tuned. Stadium, some fans in the stands ready for the finals of the Governor's Cup, the tournament that Southern Illinois has won 7 times. Northern won it once, and that was in 1984 when the Huskies hosted it right here at Husky Stadium. Starting lineups, first of all, for the visiting Cougars of Southern Illinois, Jamie Saddle, who got the tying goal last night, or the lead goal last night. He'll be up there. Number 6, Jay Demtrak. Bob Garofalo, number 8. He'll be starting in the midfield, along with Tom Stone, number 10, whose goal was the game winner in a shootout last night. On defense, Tim Colley, also a junior. He is number 12. Gino Sortino, number 14, up on the front line, making his first start of the season. Steve Abel in the midfield, a sophomore. Chris Knopf, you're going to have to watch him if you're John Lechner for Northern. He's going to be marking Lechner. And the leading scorer, number 22, Jim Nischbach for Southern Illinois. He is, like most of the team, from the St. Louis area, and he had an assist last night. The keeper, Steve Range, the only senior on the team, as we mentioned. For Northern Illinois, In the backfield, number 16, Tony Adolphs, number 7, Frank Sparacino, who was on the forward line, now moving back to the defense. Tim O'Keefe, the senior, Krebs Hala, in there, number 22. The midfield, number 2, Jim Corno, number 8, Junior Matthews. And Karsten Roy is up in midfield after playing defense, stopper, sweeper earlier in the season. The forward line, Willie Roy Jr., John Lechner, and Jim Pisani, who also had been a defender, moving up on the front line. The keeper, Marcus Roy, back in goal after playing in the midfield last night. Marcus, a high school All-America, has gone all the way until last night in goal for the Northern Illinois Huskies. He had a couple of shutouts against Bradley and DePaul. And as we mentioned, playing midfield against Eastern. He also has an assist this year when a long punt was converted into a goal. The officials, veteran crew today. The referee, Al Klenitis, and you know him, Peter. There's Klenitis, flanked by the linesmen, Steve Siomos and Thomas Lauer.
A lot of experience on this officiating crew, Mike. I think the fans are in for a well-called game. Hopefully they won't, the officials won't let us down and make a liar out of me.
Well, we've been watching Northern Illinois for much of the season now, and this was a team that started as many as 6 or 7 freshmen at one point. And certainly even in Willie Roy's estimation with the young team, hasn't really come together, at least until last night. They still stand 0-4 in the conference, the Big Central Conference. This game and this tournament not counting in the actual conference standings. But they felt last night they really were communicating better, they were moving the ball better, and certainly they were converting better and finishing off better with their highest goal production of the season.
Well, of course, that's the key. You've got to put the ball in the net, and I think they had exactly what they needed going into a game like this where you're playing a powerhouse like SIU, who's ranked 15th right now on most polls. I think 17th on another, but obviously a top 20 club at the very least. And Northern with 5 goals last night, that's got to help their confidence a little bit. They only lost to them 2-1 in the opener when they were probably still trying to sort each other out. So I think they've got to be feeling pretty good about it.
And as for Southern Illinois, this is a team that also is very, very young. Last year, as you look at Willie Roy of Northern Illinois, they had basically a 500 season, a rebuilding season for them. And here in Ed Huneke's 3rd year, we have a team that has only lost once, tied once in 10 games. Let's wait now for the national anthem. Here at DeKalb, Illinois. It rained like crazy last night for the first round. Consistent rain, a driving rain, and that made things very sloppy even on the AstroTurf. Also made them a little softer, Peter, as someone who's played on this field, you know it doesn't give much. But here today, beautiful, high, puffy clouds, not a sign of rain. Good stiff breeze, however.
And the wind is very much a key factor, as it always is here at Husky Stadium in DeKalb, Mike. You've got swirling winds a lot, and right now we're seeing the ribbons on the top of the football uprights moving pretty briskly. So the keepers are going to have to be aware of where that wind's coming from at all times and play accordingly.
Well, Northern Illinois in the white jerseys will be kicking off. Willie Roy Jr., number 4. will be doing the kicking off, along with Jim Pisani, number 6. And in the red, the Cougars of Southern Illinois. Mike Liederman along with Peter Manos, high in the booth up here. And this is the finals of the 17th Governor's Cup. A really good tournament, bringing together the 4 state schools, or 4 of the state schools, Northern, Southern, Eastern, and Western. And we're underway. Karsten Roy. And we get our first call.
NIU pushing south, SIU Edwardsville, free kick.
And the ball will go to Southern. This is Demtrack, number 6. Back it comes. This is Pisani. This is Jim Corno, number 2, with the cast. Broke his arm against Drake.
Huskies throw it.
And the Huskies will keep the ball. Tim O'Keefe on the throw-in. Gets it to Pisani. And it goes back, and Range will take it, the keeper. And he'll wait until everybody clears.
Nice kick by Range. Mike, he showed us some range there with that long ball. I thought I'd get that out of the way right off the bat, so I don't have to worry about it the rest of the game.
We can dismiss that one, but having the wind at his back. And this is Tim Colley.
Excuse me, Mike. What you'll see on AstroTurf a lot also is goalkeepers using the drop kick, which you don't see a whole lot of on natural turf fields. You get such a nice, clean, even bounce off AstroTurf that oftentimes a goalkeeper will do well off a drop kick versus a punt.
Northern controlling the action most of the way. It is very difficult. Of course, you can see this is a football field as well. The soccer markings are in yellow. You can see the top of the box right there. But let's put it this way. The closest to the running track in the red will be the soccer markings, and we'll take our keys from the officials as they call it. Still very much in the feel-out stage right here. The early moments of the first half, 43 minutes to go. So we've gone through 2 minutes here in the final.
Another thing players have to contend with, because this is a football field, Mike, is the crown. And of course, on TV, you really can't see that, but there's very much a very high crown here. It's so much so that if you're on one touch line all the way across to the other touch line, you won't know if the ball's at the man's feet or not. He could have it at his feet, and you just about see his knees. So that's something they have to worry about.
And we get a call against Southern Illinois again, and Northern will be keeping it in. Roy crossing wide, intending for O'Keefe coming down the right side, and Timmy O'Keefe will send it across the end line, and we'll get a goal kick for Southern Illinois. Range, 6-footer from the St. Louis area, Hazelwood East High School. He is the only senior on this very accomplished young bunch of Southern Illinois team. And again, it will go out of bounds, but this time off Northern, so it will be Southern Illinois ball.
As in years past, Mike, the SIU Edwardsville Cougars have a very strong St. Louis flavor in that they're just right across the river from St. Louis. The majority of their players for years have always come from the St. Louis area. And when they come in, even as freshmen, very experienced soccer players given the great St. Louis soccer tradition.
This is Garofalo, has it taken away by Sparacino. And boy, we are up high. Northern will throw in. And it will go over to Southern.
SIUE throw in.
A look at Willie Roy. This is Garofalo, number 8, but he will not take it. And we can't even see into that corner, so when it comes out, we'll take a look. This is Stone, number 10, and Marcus Roy clears. Southern keeping the pressure on.
Husky throwing.
That's Chris Knopf, number 18. His job will be to mark John Lechner, fine scorer from Northern. This is Junior Matthews coming down the left wing. Taken away by Steve Abel. And we get the whistle against Northern Illinois.
We are up in the clouds here, Mike. Husky Stadium, where, of course, the NIU football team plays their home matches, was dedicated back in '65, and I believe the concrete side here holds about 15,000. So we've got a great vantage point from up here, although it's very difficult to see the near touchline because of the way the stands overlap.
Down in the southern end, this is Corno for Northern. Bumped around by Jim Nishbach, number 22.
Husky throwing.
And Northern, again, keeping possession most of the way here in the early going, although no one has done anything challenging to either one of the keepers at this point. Back it comes now. Sparacino wins that for Northern. And back again to Colley.
Mike, I'm looking forward at halftime to talking to Steve Nemeth, Associate Sports Info Director here at Northern. I'm hearing rumors about a grass field in Northern Soccer Futures as a permanent playing facility. So we'll have to talk to him about that and see what he tells us.
Okay, right now we've got Northern trying to mount an offensive charge, the foul against Southern. This is Karsten Roy taking the pass back from his brother, Willie Jr., centering and over the head of Pisani, and it goes out of bounds. Corno trying to keep it in. It'll be Southern ball.
Not a bad idea from Karsten Roy. He floats the ball across the goal mouth. Unfortunately for the Huskies, Pisani was just a little bit underneath it, and it sailed over his head out of trouble.
Throw in by Stone. Out of bounds it goes. Southern will keep it. It'll be interesting to see the way the Roy brothers work up there in the midfield and the front line together. For those of you who haven't been following, Willie Roy, the coach, has got his 3 sons on this team, Karsten, Marcus, and Willie, all very accomplished high school players and all helping to build up the program here at Northern Illinois.
Willie has told us he's in process of trying to get his wife on the squad, as well as the maybe
couple of uncles, cousins.
Maybe get the family dog in as the mascot.
Again, most of the play in the midfield area. Here is Frank Sparacino taking it away for Northern with Gino Sortino for SIU Edwardsville. Cougars and the Huskies, Northern and Southern Illinois Edwardsville, going at it right here. And from the near touchline, that was Garofalo on the throw-in. And Bob will probably do it again. Yes, he will. Garofalo making his first start of the year, sends this one way over the goal.
Goal kick, Northern Illinois.
Well, we'll probably see, we've already seen a shaken up opening lineup from Ed Hunnicky at Southern. We'll also see more substitution because of the fatigue factor here. We'll take a look at this again.
Here's Garofalo just trying to make something happen. Obviously that ball is no problem at all for Marcus Roy in the Northern defense. I think he just wanted to flip a ball up in front of the goal and take his chances, but with the wind it sailed way out of trouble.
Willie Roy Jr. took a shot in the face going up on the header from Jim Hennessy, the defender. So Northern will take the ball.
No charge for the facial,
as they say. Prebz Holla, number 22, trying to get it into the attack zone for Northern.
Cougar throw-in.
And the throw-in by Southern now. Disrupted again by the Huskies. Tom Stone, number 10, will throw in again.
At this point, Mike, Northern seems to be a bit more of the aggressor. We see a shot of the crowd there at Husky Stadium. I think Ed Hunnicky and his fellows are a little bit cautious about Northern. Again, it's tough to play a team twice in one season. You've beaten them before. It's almost as if you've got nothing to gain by playing the same team again, and I think he's very wary of the Huskies at this point.
36 minutes to go, first half, no score. Northern Illinois in the white, Southern in the red. Here comes Northern, Frank Sparacino. And into the game, number 15, Wally Fikri. And Wally Fikri has it taken away from him. It'll go over to Southern. Here's a good look at Garofalo. Because these two teams may well see each other again in the conference tournament after the Big Central regular season is through, which is probably a good thing for Northern, since Northern right now is 0-4 in the conference. Southern trying to mount an attack right here. Number 4, Jamie Saddle, getting it in. This is Saddle again past him. And it will go to Northern. Corno to throw in.
Northern Illinois.
Tom Stone tap dancing a bit, getting the throw in deep now. Intercepted by Holla. And Krebs Holla gets it out of trouble for Northern.
Scrappy play so far, Mike. No one's really been able to generate anything quite yet. A lot of missed traps and some very short passing in a confined space. We haven't seen anybody really string 3 or 4 nice passes together and create anything offensively.
Well, Fickery tripped up, and Northern will get the kick.
Here's a replay on that recent action. We see Fickery moving toward the ball, sticks his head in there, and gets a little bump and grabs a whistle from it.
Down it comes here to Sparacino, who couldn't save it. And Jay Demtrak, one of the few non-St. Louisans. St. Louisans?
Something like that.
Something like that. He is from upstate New York, the Binghamton area. Endicott, New York, went to high school in Vestal.
SIUE now.
We did some running around there in our youth, so we know the area a bit.
You're still young, Mike.
Absolutely. Haven't been there for a while, though. Saddle. Ahead now to Nishbach, and Nishbach, the leading scorer, getting it across to Stone. Stone looking for Saddle again. Setting up the offense here for Southern, kicked away by Northern. Kept in by Stone. 33-30 to go, first half, no score at Husky Stadium in DeKalb.
Mike, I think we've got some wet turf out there, although it's difficult to tell. Obviously, it's a beautiful day. There's no puddles or anything of that sort, but if you notice at the crown, it's a different color than the rest of the field. And I think because of the soaking last night, the turf is still very slick. And that last rush, we saw Tim O'Keefe on the defensive side for Northern slip and fall. And then Jamie Saddle, as he was turning to push a ball onto the wing, also fall. So I think we've got some slick AstroTurf there, even though, again, it's a beautiful day.
Well, you also have a situation where Northern played the early game last night at 6 o'clock in the rain. Then Southern didn't get on the field till well after 8 and didn't get through till well after 11.
That's true. That could prove to be a factor as the second half wears down. If Northern's still in the match, and I'm sure they plan to be at that point, that fatigue there could come into play. Also, Northern enjoyed a big win, 5-0. They can relax, have fun with it. So they're coming in on a high, and Southern had to scrap to beat Eastern in their first round, and they may be a little tired.
It's also the first time Southern has played on AstroTurf. Northern, of course, very much used to it, but Southern has a grass home field. Coming across, this is Demtrak, number 6, Jay Demtrak, second leading scorer for Southern.
Goal kick.
And we'll have a goal kick for Northern.
Playing on turf is a new experience, is a different experience, and as you said, since this is Southern's first game, there's a little shot of Ed Hunnicky, the head coach for the Cougars. As you mentioned, this is the first turf game for a lot of these players on the Cougar side, so that's going to take them a while to get used to it. It's Cougar Field, their home field, is a beautiful grass field, and it's a whole different ball game. When you've got the ball on the turf as much as it is in soccer, really can change the flow of play.
Now number 10, Tom Stone, again will take the throw in. That's his specialty here for SIU Edwardsville. Deflected by Corno.
Another Cougar throw in.
Southern will keep the ball. Stone again. As we move deeper into the first half, we can see slowly, ever so slowly, more of the play becoming apparent in the Northern Illinois end of things. Although neither goalkeeper has been tested as yet. Here's a throw-in for Northern, coming from the far side across the field, and Tim O'Keefe will take it.
Throw in, NIU.
Well, more of the same. Lechner trying to get it up. This is Frank Sparacino looking for Fickery, taken away by Garofalo of Southern. Up it comes. Northern looking for an offside call, but this is Nishbach, and it goes out of bounds. No whistle, but it will be, looks like a goal kick for Northern.
You sure could hear Willie Roy yelling for the offside as soon as that ball was played, Mike. He's going to stay on the officials and make sure they're aware of what the Cougars are doing on the Huskies' defensive third.
I'm sorry, Peter. Chris Machold, a 5'10 senior coming in to the game for Southern Illinois. Machold, listed as a defender. Transferred from Evansville, a fine soccer club they have there. The only team to beat SIU this season, and did it rather handily, shutting them out 3-0.
Evansville has really come on in recent years. Mike, you go back 6-7 years and no one even knew about the Evansville Aces down there, but Freddie Schmalz has really put a great program together, and they're a force to be reckoned with year in and year out now in the Midwest.
Back it comes to range. Under 30 minutes to go here. First half, still no score. The finals of the 17th Governor's Cup.
Willie Roy looking pretty intense there. I think he wants this one bad, Mike.
Well, they felt they had a real good boost last night with that 5-0 win over Western. Now, granted, Western isn't Indiana or even SIU Edwardsville, but it was the way they played. And a couple of the players mentioned they found themselves introducing themselves to each other a lot better, and certainly finishing off plays that had gone awry in previous matches.
This would be a great feather in the cap for Willie Roy and the Huskies, beating a team like SIU Edwardsville, nationally ranked. And the 4 Governor's Cup I played in, Mike, we weren't able to beat the Cougars, and again, Northern's only won 1 of the 17 or 16 previous tournaments, so they'd love to win this thing.
Would be nice, and of course the only one they won was the last time it took place here, and that was in 1984. So maybe the Olympic years are good years for Northern.
Could be. The tournament rotates every year. It goes to a different school, and of course then that means every 4 years it's back at your home field. So they're looking for good things here in '88.
28 minutes exactly on the clock left to go first half. Still no scoring. Southern booming it all the way down to Marcus Roy. And Marcus shoveling it to Frank Sparacino, freshman from Elk Grove, one of 7 freshmen on this Northern Illinois team. And all of them very highly regarded. As we said, he's had all 7 of them in the game at one form or another.
That he has.
Yeah, and last year Southern played 7 freshmen.
That's
so you've
true.
got 2 very young teams.
Willie Roy has always been known, if not for nothing else, for good recruiting. When he was in the professional ranks for the Sting, he was brought a lot of blue chip players over from different lands. It looks like he's continuing his recruiting ways here at Northern, bringing in a nice crop of freshmen.
Well, we see over here Tim O'Keefe coming off to the sidelines. And the official signaling play back in. And Jerry Przinski replaces O'Keefe. Przinski, a sophomore from Justice, Illinois.
No checkered flag today for the linesman, Mike. I see one with red and one with yellow. So we're seeing everything but that neon checkered number we saw there at DePaul last time.
Still the play in the midfield. 26:50 to go first half. Willie Roy Jr. coming down the right side. Marked by number 5, Jim Hennessy. Question how long and how far Hennessy will be able to go. He's got an injured groin, injured knee, aggravated both those injuries. Here coming across, the kick from Corno. The left-footed kick well wide of the goal, and Range will get it out of there for Southern.
That represents the most pressure Northern's put on the Southern goal at this point. An effort by Jim Corno that whistled by the far post with plenty of room to spare. One thing I noticed, Mike, which indicates what a smart defensive club Southern is that ball was being played in the corner. Number 12, Tim Colley, and number 18, Chris Knopf for the Cougars were constantly checking behind them as they were running in toward their own goal, constantly looking over their shoulder to see exactly where the Huskies were moving behind them. So that shows some experience.
Tim Colley kicked it out, and it will be throw in for SIU Edwardsville, and Tom Stone, who's getting a lot of throw-in practice, will do it again. Trust us, there's a yellow line back there on the far side. That is the touch line. Back it comes here. John Lechner trying to win the race and kicked out by Chris Knopp. And Knopp, who has become Lechner's shadow. There you can see the touch line down the other end right there. This is the near side touch line. Sparacino, number 7, throwing it in, and he'll do it again for Northern Illinois. Sparacino knocked out. It will be again a throw-in for the Huskies. Northern trying to develop some offense here. Over to Willie Roy Jr. And the first save of the match. Ably handled by Steve Range.
Nice little give and go there from Jim Pisani. He received the ball off the throw-in with his back to the defender. Willie Roy circles around and gets a nice pass and lets one go. And Mr. Range was in the right spot at the right time, shielded the ball well and held on, no rebound.
Tennessee, number 5, being marked by Pisani. Ball is loose, but you can see Range not letting that rebound get away too far because Mr. Lechner was sitting on his doorstep waiting for the gift.
That was close, Mike. I'll tell you, especially with the turf being wet, it might not have looked as dangerous as it was, but I'm sure Ed Hunnicky had a couple of gray hairs pop out on that one. What happened was the defender touched the ball onto his goalkeeper, thinking his goalkeeper was waiting for the ball. Meanwhile, the keeper's coming out to cut the ball off, and it was only a very quick right hand of Steve Range that saved an own goal there. That would have been a disaster for the Cougars.
Sliding tackle in there by SIU for Saddle, and Northern will take the ball on the free kick on the foul. Under 24 minutes to go, first half. This is Sortino, Gino Sortino. Local product, Chicago area, went to Prospect High School. Makes his home in Arlington Heights. Actually, I guess his parents make their home in Arlington Heights, right? We're not at that point.
I think that's how it works.
Okay. Southern will take the throw in here. And this will be Stone. Headed out by Northern. Back to Stone. And this is Garofalo, number 8. We mentioned starting for the first time this season in front by Saddle. Knocked away by Marcus Roy. And here's Marcus Roy again taking the long shot. And Jamie Saddle getting a good effort right there for Southern.
Saddle had a great chance, and Marcus Roy came up big for the Huskies there. That's a tough save. You're coming out to decrease angle. The ball's headed down, and it caught him on the short hop, Mike, and he did well to keep his body between the goal and the ball and was able to get it out of trouble. But a nice crossing pass, and Saddle with a very nice directed header.
Frank Sparacino trying to take it up the left side. Taken away, but a foul called, and the foul will be on Southern as Saddle, again guilty of the infraction. Check it, it's on Northern. Southern will take the kick.
I'll tell you, that's tough for a goalkeeper. We've been playing here for quite a few minutes. The first half is winding down. You haven't had to do a whole lot, and all of a sudden the ball comes floating across the goal and a sharp header at your feet. You've got to be there. You've got to be ready, and that's where concentration comes in.
Headed for the box. It goes over the end line. It's intended for Stone, but too far for him. Now we get another substitution. We get number 3, Bart Berry, a junior from St. Louis, in. And also number 7, Steve Hausman, who had been starting. He will come in now. You see Przinski coming over for Northern Illinois. Coming down the right side is Northern. Karsten Roy, number 10 with it. Hausman, number 7.
Instead of 23, Mark Berry.
Still no score if you've just joined us. The finals of the Governor's Cup. Northern Illinois with the ball. Fickrey sending it down into the box, and Range is there ahead of everybody.
That's what a goalkeeper needs to do, Mike. He needs to command the goal area. He came off his line quickly and snuffed out any problem.
Back it comes the other way, and ditto Marcus Roy taking the shot from Nishbach.
Not a bad crowd here, Mike. I know the majority of our shots are from the concrete side of the stadium, and you see a lot of empty stands on the far side, which they've closed off. We've got a pretty good group of fans down here on the near side.
Pisani goes forward, but it's taken away by Southern. Boomed all the way down. This is Tony Adolphs in front. Sliding tackle. And Southern looking for a penalty call there, but the official says play on.
Well, here was a dangerous situation. This is going to cause Willie Roy a few gray hairs. Here's a situation where the defender isn't too sure, I don't think, what he wants to do with the ball. All of a sudden, the ball is pretty close to being on the attacker's feet, and Marcus Roy wisely comes out to smother it. But there's a situation where Tony Adolphs needed to decide early, make the decision early, what am I going to do with this ball? And I don't think he made that decision. There you see Willie, and he's upset. He doesn't want to give away a lousy goal.
Junior Matthews back in the game for Northern along with Pisani. And that effort, by the way, on the offense was Nishbach of Southern Illinois.
Willie looked like he's ready to kick that himself, didn't he?
Karsten Roy gets fouled. And the foul on number 4, Jamie Saddle. And this is Karsten who will take the kick. Under 20 minutes to go. Willie Roy always animated, always shouting instructions. And in this case, more so than the pros, always teaching. And he's enjoying it. This is Sparacino trying to center. Into the box, Pisani. And Pisani can't get a good foot on it. Out of bounds, it will go to Northern on the throw, and Willie Roy Jr. will take it. And it comes to Lechner, and Lechner can't keep it in, nor can Roy. It will go back to the goalkeeper for SIU, Steve Range. 18:40 to go, first half. Part of the crowd. Nice fall day in DeKalb.
The sun's out, and so are the Foster Grants.
Colley booms it out of there for Southern. Ahead looking for Nishbach. On the left wing was Hausman. Too far for everybody. Well, we remind you this broadcast, the rights have been granted to Sports Vision by Northern Illinois University solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction of this broadcast or rebroadcast of this event without the written consent of Sports Vision and Northern Illinois University is prohibited. Right now, a lot of headbutting, a lot of kicking, a lot of swinging, but no scoring. With under 18 minutes to go, first half. Jamie Saddle, who's been very active for Southern. Out of bounds it goes. It'll come back the other way with Southern getting the throw in. Stone.
Thus far, Mike.
Check it, that's Chris Knopf.
Thus far, Mike, the Cougars from SIU Edwardsville had a great chance, which was turned aside by Marcus Roy. And actually, the best chance the Huskies had, as that ball bounds over the end line, the best chance the Huskies had was when one of the Southern defenders almost touched it by his own keeper. So we've had a couple of close calls at either end. No score at this point.
Now coming into the game for Southern, number 15, Jeff Method. Method from Melville, Missouri, which also is the St. Louis area. He is a junior. Has 1 goal on the season, a couple of assists. And one of the few upperclassmen on this squad. Header play here. Out it comes. Taken by Chris Mackholt. Back to the defense. And Corno is there to send it down the other way. The race is on. And Range wins it from Lechner. 16 minutes, 25 seconds to go first half. Still no scoring. This is Tim Colley, number 12, playing it over to Knopf, number 18. And Mackhold having a little bit of a problem over there. This is Berry, number 3. Berry, also a junior, has yet to score this season.
Well, Willie Roy Jr. there closed in on Mackhold very quickly, did a little forechecking, to borrow a hockey term. and cause them to misplay the ball a little bit, Mike.
Garofalo trying to keep it in, can't do it. And Frank Sparacino will take the throw in, number 7 for Northern, right in front of us. There's Ed Hunnicky, his 3rd year as coach, looking to get SIU back in the NCAA playoffs, where they have been time and time again.
Hunnicky's a familiar name to SIU fans, of course. Ed played and his younger brother Denny played. I had the displeasure of having Denny kick me a few times, I think, back in the old days, Mike. But they're a solid soccer family, as are the Cacciatoris. And I noticed there's Jeff Cacciatori is on the staff of SIU Edwardsville as an assistant coach. And they go back to, there's Jeff, and then there's Chris and Steve, I believe. I played against Steve. So a lot of tradition in the St. Louis area with soccer, and a lot of the same names pop up year after year.
And, of course, the biggest name in SIU Edwardsville history, soccer history, is Bob Gelker, the legendary coach who coached them for 19 years. Passed away a couple of years ago, and they named the field out there at Edwardsville after Bob Gelker. Took them to 2 national championships, over 200 victories in that time, and really built an outstanding national reputation for the program.
He was an institution and a very nice man.
14 and a half minutes to go, first half. Mike Lederman with you, along with Peter Manos. Playing on Pete's old home turf. Actually, the turf has been replaced since you've been here, but you've taken many a tumble on this as a keeper for Northern back in the 70s.
I thought it was in the 80s.
In the 80s, huh? Am I giving anything away?
Yeah, I think you are, Mike.
Again, a whistle. Play mostly in the midfield. Chris Mackhold will be doing the honors now for Southern. Gets it past Bart Berry, number 3. That's Berry. Southern trying to set something up now. Berry hits it to the middle. And again, trying to set something up. It goes past Marcus Roy, past the end line, so it'll be a goal kick. Here's Marcus.
Mike, we've not had that many set pieces, and that was one of the few that we've had, and it was from maybe the 40-yard line, which is actually the 50 yards from the goal, so it wasn't a very dangerous chance for the Cougars, but there have not been a lot of action close to the goal at this point as far as direct or indirect kicks go.
Very few fouls for the game.
Basing that on the most recent match against DePaul?
Yeah, compared to DePaul.
Another NIU throw-in.
Although these teams are both fairly physical. Coming into Pisani on the give from Lechner. Broken up by Southern. Down it comes here. This is Frank Sparacino. Cross in front. And Pisani couldn't handle it. This is Fickery back. Being checked by Sortino. 12 and a half minutes to go. And Berry will throw it in.
Going back to that DePaul game, I was talking with Willie Roy before the match started today, and I said, well, how did you feel after that player was ejected and you were playing one man down? He said, well, I should have taken another 1 or 2 off to incite the troops. I said, Willie, I thought you were going to get one there, and I think he felt the same way, but nothing developed, and they battled to a 0-0 tie.
Yeah, and I believe 5 yellow cards given, 1 red card. And that was to John Kelly, who had to sit out last night's game, the freshman. Kelly is eligible to play today, although we have not seen him yet this afternoon. There is a good look at Junior Matthews. Garofalo throwing it in now for Southern. Tipped over by Demtrack, and down it comes again.
I didn't talk to Willie about his yellow card, and he didn't offer any information, so that was a
well, that
a
came in after the regulation. Yeah, came in after regulation. Meanwhile, during one incident, the referee handed out 4 yellow cards to Northern Illinois.
Unbeknownst to us or anyone in the stadium, actually.
Unbeknownst to everybody on the Northern Illinois bench too, and he also handed out the red card, which became very apparent. Under 11 minutes to go now. Still mostly midfield play. Taken away by Southern right here. Coming down, this is Saddle. Jamie Saddle crossing. Headed out of there by Northern. Jim Pisani. And Junior Matthews wasn't looking for the pass that came his way. Taken by Northern. Now, it's kicked out of there by the Huskies.
Nice positioning by Pisani on that ball that Saddle hit across the goal mouth, out just at the top of the box. He was in the right spot and headed it strongly away, out of trouble.
This is Berry and Bart Berry. And out it comes inside, headed in there by Southern. Once again, shot. Shot on goal by Jeff Method and taken away by Marcus Roy. Roy in there for the save, but it was definitely on goal. Whistle here, it will go against Southern. Under 10 minutes to go.
Prior to that shot on goal, Northern did not clear the ball very well after a heading attempt, Mike, and the ball was headed down to the feet of a Husky attack, or excuse me, of a Cougar attacker. So we saw a difference there in the span of a minute of a nice clear, a good clear, nice defensive clear versus one that isn't too sharp. And Frank Sparacino, I'm sure would have liked to have that back and done a better job with it.
Kicked out by Chris Mackhold all the way down. Across the end line, goal kick, Northern Illinois. Dave Pacwa into the game for the Huskies right now. Pacwa, a sophomore from Park Ridge, went to Loyola. Robert Checkett, Brett Walton comes in. Nishbach comes out for Southern. Walton from Champaign Central. Checkett, Nishbach checks back in.
Number 5, freshman John Kelly.
And here is Kelly making his first appearance, number 5. John from Lake Park High School, from Hanover Park, 5'10", 172-pound freshman for Willie Roy. 3-year letterman in high school. And Garofalo battling Kelly. And over it comes to Steve Hausman. Throws it in to Saddle. 8.5 minutes to go. Southern on the attack here. Nishbach. Cross in front. Looking for number 14, Sortino, with the header.
Well, Mike, that might have developed into something. The ball comes across the Northern goal. There's no one really on the back door, the far post as the ball is flicked on. There's no one there for the Cougars to follow up on that. All you had there was John Kelly just to make sure there were no problems.
Marcus Roy gets it out. Saddle sends it right back in. And Saddle up and over the back of Karsten Roy. So Northern will take the free kick right here with 7.5 minutes to go. This is Pisani. Good leg work, good footwork right here. This is Fickrey. Corno. Cross to Karsten Roy, marked by Garofalo, and we get a foul against Garofalo, so Karsten Roy and Northern will have the kick.
Here's a replay on that, Mike. You see the bodies banging there, and you know, Southern showed some experience there on the defensive side after the whistle blew. As the player was getting up, you managed just by accident, of course, kick that ball away and not let Northern get a jump on him. So there's some things you can do within the rules that buy you a little time when you're under pressure defensively, and that's the sign of an experienced club.
Here comes down the left side. This is Nishbach. Nishbach, he is fought off, and there by Northern, by Prebz Halle, but we get a whistle, and we're going to get a tripping foul called against Halle, and from in close now, just outside the penalty area, Southern Illinois will get the kick. So we'll see the wall from Northern Saddle and Garofalo back to take it over there. Saddle number 4, Garofalo number 8. Watch the action inside in the box.
Looks like a 4-man wall, and this is really the first time we've seen a set piece in close toward the goal. So let's see how Northern defenses this. Southern may try something fancy.
Well, right on, though. And Marcus Roy just picked it out of the air. Up it comes to John Kelly, and out of bounds between Kelly and Hausman. Northern takes the throw.
Nothing real fancy there, Mike. The ball was just touched and then played right on goal. Not a very difficult shot for Marcus Roy. It was on goal. He was in the right spot and took care of it with no trouble.
Down it comes, intended for Lechner down the right side. He's being marked in there by Chris Knopf. And too long, it'll go over to Southern.
There's where that crown of the field comes into play. On a flat field, I think the ball would have stayed in play, but with the turf being a little bit slick, we're seeing the dry portion at the crown starting to expand as the day wears on. But with the turf being slick, especially on the ends, where the raw water runs down, plus the crown, that ball just ran right off the field.
Garofalo on the throw-in. And back it comes to the keeper, set off the foot of Bart Berry. 4.5 minutes to go, first half here at Northern Illinois at Husky Stadium. No score. Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, the finals of the Governor's Cup. Nishbach and Krebs Halle, and Halle heads it to his keeper.
Big kick by the keeper for the Cougars, Steve Range. That thing really bounced on the turf, and that was a good chance for Southern. Trevin Halle made a nice defensive play and headed it toward his own goal, and Marcus Roy gobbled it up.
Well, it'll be interesting to see also the kind of foot that Marcus will get in to the ball in the second half, because Marcus got good range on his kicks. To the point, as we mentioned, he's had an assist directly off I believe it was a punt against Loyola.
Well, that would have been an assist for Steve Range if that ball would have found the back of the Husky net. And the wind has been pretty much staying in one direction. It hasn't swirled like it usually does here, and it'll be at Marcus Roy's back for the second half.
3.5 minutes to go, first half. And again, we get a goal kick for Northern Illinois.
See the American flag there flapping on the pole, Mike. That is a pretty stiff breeze. I don't know what kind of miles per hour we're talking about, but it's moving.
And Marcus against the wind gets a nice foot into that one. Goes out of bounds, though. Knopf will throw in for Southern. Southern Illinois 8-1-1 on the season. They are leading the Big Central Conference, of which Northern Illinois is a member. 4-0 in that conference, as opposed to Northern Illinois 0-4. 2 minutes, 45 seconds to go, first half. Southern Illinois will take the ball on the kick in, headed away by Halle, and it will still be Southern. This tournament, of course, independent of the conference. The games don't count in the standings, and here is Marcus Roy again with 2 minutes 20 to go, first half, trying to get it up to Kelly, but taken away by Southern, and down goes Hausman, and it'll be a foul on Northern Illinois.
There's a ball that ran away from a Husky defender as Marcus Roy threw it out. Again, I think a function of the turf being a little bit slick.
Coming in, this is Walton, number 11. And Northern trying to move it out, but the pass too far for Willie Roy Jr. Under 2 minutes to go, first half. Willie Roy, you can hear him giving instructions to his players. John Kelly. Kelly and Walton dueling for it, and Walton gets it down. Looking for Nishbach there, and Nishbach wants a handball on Northern, but no call.
Good defensive play by the Huskies. They've got to be careful here. A lot of goals were scored at this time of the game in the last 5 minutes of each of the first half.
I'm sorry, Pete. Garofalo's shot taken by Marcus Roy, and that was a shot on goal.
Certainly was. The last 5 minutes of each of the first half, the first 5 minutes of the second half, of course, the last few minutes of a game, those are when a lot of goals happen. Players are a little tired. They're maybe not concentrating as well, and it's a time for the players to really be awake, and that's when the coaches get a little edgy.
And the final minute of play here in the first half. Southern Illinois in red with possession. Range will probably get as much foot into this one as he can with 45 seconds remaining on the clock.
You may have heard Willie Roy saying push up, push up. He wants his players to push up because of the big punts, the big kicks that are coming from the Southern goalkeeper Steve Range. He doesn't want any last-minute goal here.
Foul looks to be on Adolphs, Tony Adolphs of Northern. So Southern, with 26 seconds to go, will get the kick. Willie Roy again as Tim Colley sets the ball up. Colley booms it right on goal. And we get a call, a pushing foul against Southern. The final 10 seconds here, and Marcus Roy will just hold on to things and let the first half expire. 2-1, you can see it there, and that's it. That is it. That's the end of the first half of play, and we have no score here in DeKalb. Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, and Northern Illinois. We'll be back with halftime activities in just a minute.
It is no big deal.
It's a hassle.
Oh, it's called Master Care Car Service. Brakes, tune-ups.
Alignments?
No big deal. The mechanics are great. All their equipment, you'd swear they were technicians. And they stand behind their work 6 months or 6,000 miles.
Master Care.
You're covered from Maine to Missoula. These guys are so good. Fixing your car is no big deal.
Finally, taking care of your car is no big deal. Master Care Car Service by Firestone.
But I thought they just sold tires.
Power. It's a better ability, a stronger control, a commanding presence. Patrick soccer boots give you the power to control the ball, control the playing surface, and control the opponent. Touch the power of Europe's leading soccer boots. Patrick.
The king of the car dealers is Bob Rohrman.
We're having a double whammy party. It's our grand opening of Arlington Acura and Palatine, and our prices may never be lower.
Grand opening prices are also at Schaumburg Honda Automobiles.
Hundreds of new Acuras are in our grand opening stock.
We have the largest Honda inventory in the Midwest, and it's whammy time.
The king of the car dealers is Bob Rohrman.
I'm a party animal.
Pete Manos at halftime. I'm with Steve Nemeth, the Associate Sports Information Director here at NIU. Steve, welcome.
Welcome to you folks to Sports Vision. Always happy to have you gentlemen here at Husky Stadium.
Let's talk a little bit about the Governor's Cup tournament. We're in our 17th year, believe it or not. And, of course, SIU has always been a key factor in these tournaments.
SIU, and also give Eastern Illinois credit. The 16 previous Governor's Cups so far, 7 titles to the Panthers, 7 to the Cougars. 1 for NIU the last time the Huskies hosted this tournament here, and also 1 for Western Illinois when they were hosting it last year.
So we see a little dominance there with between Eastern and Southern. This year we've got Southern ranked 15th in the country right now. They sported an 8-1 record, I believe, Steve. Or is it 9-1? 8-1,
8-1
right?
and 1.
It's 8-1 and 1, okay. What do you look for in the final here now against Northern?
Well, for Northern Illinois, obviously we've played a half here, and the idea is for NIU to maintain its composure and keep attacking, not get flustered at all. And obviously SIU Edwardsville is as good as its rating is, and just to keep going and follow Willie Roy's game plan.
I'll be back with Steve after this.
I take care of my body, play a lot of sports, play to win. I go to Sport Mart. They got the best, at the best prices.
For the way you play.
The everyday Sport Mart price is guaranteed the lowest in town, or I get the difference in cash. It's the ESP guarantee.
For the way you play.
Save $40 on Porter's fiberglass backboard and goal, only $49.94. Sport Mart guarantees Porter for less.
Sport Mart, for the way you play.
The electricity, the sound, the suspense, the entertainment, the fun, the game, the Bulls. Tickets for all home games are on sale now. Pick the teams you want to see, the dates you want to make. Call 853-3636. The game is only the beginning.
We are Northern Illinois University. Growing. Changing. Serving. Leading. Learning. Teaching. Responding. Achieving. Dedicated to excellence. Northern Illinois University.
I'm back with Steve Nemeth, Associate ID here at Northern. Tell us about Northern's club this year. The viewers, of course, have seen a couple of matches already. What's down the road for us?
Well, down the road for Northern Illinois, obviously, we have yet another appearance with you folks, Northwestern match coming up. And that'll be moved to the Schwaben Center due to some difficulties at Evanston on their field. As far as something in the future for NIU fans, Coach Willie Roy is kind of a traditionalist and prefers the grass field. We've played one match this year already, a victory over Wisconsin Green Bay on a field west of the stadium here. In the coming seasons, you'll see us playing more matches over there as Willie makes moves here with the administration's backing to have a grass field established permanently for NIU soccer team.
Well, that would be great. I could have used that in my years, Nemo. I think my bones are still creaking from falling down on this AstroTurf. When do you see this happening?
We'll be moving out there next year to an extent, try to play more matches there, and possibly the year after that, if possible, the move will become permanent, but we'll see on that.
Okay, good news for Husky soccer fans, a little natural turf. Steve, it's been great to have you on board here, and again, we appreciate all your help here. This guy, I tell you, really makes it happen for us here at Northern. It takes care of a lot of details, and it couldn't happen without him. All right, we'll be back with second half action after this.
Fact. King Nissan is #1 in sales and has the world's largest Nissan showroom service and parts facilities. Fact. Nobody sells Nissans for less. Fact. King Nissan, home of king-size discounts up to $4,000. Fact. Only at King Nissan, new Sentra prices start as low as $62.99 and new truck prices start at a low $59.95. Fact. At King Nissan, you can own a new Sentra or standard truck for as low as $97 per month. Fact. Nobody sells Nissans for less than Ray Harris King Nissan, home of king-size discounts, 5757 West Ewing in Niles.
October 23rd, Illinois' top girls tennis players will slam it out for the Illinois High School State Tennis Championship exclusively on SportsVision. Can defending champion Julie McKeon of Glenbrook North topple another outstanding field? Or will a new face emerge in the championship spotlight in 1988? Find out Sunday, October 23rd at noon when SportsVision covers every swing of both the singles and doubles final of the Illinois High School Girls State Tennis Championship.
Ara Parsegian, one of Notre Dame's greatest coaches, always knows the score when it comes to Fighting Irish football.
Hi, I'm Ara Parsegian. I keep up with the Fighting Irish football weekly on the Lou Holt Show on SportsVision.
Find out what's in store for the Notre Dame football team from the coach himself as he analyzes the 88 edition of the Fighting Irish. Right here on SportsVision, Chicago's winners on cable.
Getting ready for the start of second half action. Not exactly an offensive roadshow here as we start the second half. Neither team with a goal, very few shots on goals. Peter, no corner kicks either. Not a one in the first 45 minutes.
That is really unusual, Mike. I can't remember the last time we've seen a match with absolutely no corner kicks for either club. SIU with 6 shots, Northern with 2 shots on goal, 6 for SIU. 1 for Northern on goal. Fouls were in SIU's favor, 13-8. 1 offside only for SIU, none for Northern, which shows you there hasn't been a whole lot of action around the goals. 1 goalie save for the Cougars, 6 for the Huskies. And here we go with second half action.
We are underway. Chris Knopp for SIU Edwardsville in the red, getting it up, but this is Prebz Holly for Northern, taking it the other way. Preben Halle from Oslo, Norway. Slide tackle away by Southern. And Brad Hilke in there, the freshman from St. Louis. He's got a goal and 4 assists on the season. He is in there now, number 21. And right away we can feel a little bit adrenaline flowing, or at least the action seems a little bit more spirited. We're looking at Tom Stone here for Southern, looking in there for Nishbach, and taken away by Northern. Holly gets it back to Marcus Roy.
Playing the first half, Mike, was I wouldn't say sluggish, but very controlled, very I don't know, maybe sluggish is the best word. It was just very paced, very controlled, and that was indicated. That was indicative of really the way the play was. The statistics. It showed exactly what was happening.
Back it comes here to Marcus Roy, headed to him by Tony Adolphs. Again, just underway in the second half, no score. This is the finals of the Governor's Cup, the 17th Governor's Cup, and Marcus Roy getting lots of foot into it with the wind at his back now, sending it over to Willie Roy Jr., number 4 for Northern. Willie Roy being marked, and out it goes. It will be, waiting for the signal, it will go to Southern. The Cougars of Southern Illinois at Edwardsville.
Mike, maybe it's more accurate for me to say the statistics were indicative of what was not happening out there. I cannot remember a first half on the collegiate level or any level where there were no corner kicks. It's incredible.
Well, Bart Berry on the throw-in for Southern. And the action now, range with John Lichtner on his doorstep.
Pushing foul, free kick.
And the foul will be against Northern. Willie Roy showing some concern there with the play of his young team.
Well, Lichtner was called for a pushing foul, and you could hear Willie say, "Johnny, keep your hands down." When the ball's in the air and you're obviously playing the ball, you've got to keep your hands away from your opponent and play the ball as it is. So I'm sure Willie isn't too pleased with that.
Some of the best passing we have seen has been from the backs to their own keepers, and that is not exactly what's going to win you ball games or soccer matches. This is Wally Fickrey. Fickrey for Northern. He's being marked by Colley, number 12, and Fickrey getting it deep, but back it comes. Karsten Roy over at the midfield, back to Karsten. Knocked away by Hilke, number 21. Hausman, number 7. Holland, number 22 again. Back it goes. Back it comes. This is Pisani for Northern. And we get the foul.
Offsides call against NIU. Free kick. Cougars.
And the whistle for the offsides against Northern Illinois. Lechner and Pisani in there. And not enough defensive folks between them and the goal.
That's right, Mike. For our new soccer fans, remember, if you don't have the ball, you have to have 2 defensive players ahead of you. And usually one is the goalkeeper, the other one is the defender. So the defenders really set the offsides lines in soccer, and that's why in the first half we were talking about Willie exhorting his players to move up, to push forward. They set the line. The further back you are, the closer your opponents can go without the ball to your own goal. So you can't sink back and just be in front of your goalkeeper. You've got to move up and give him some room to work.
Still scoreless here with about 5 minutes gone in the second half. This will be Northern Illinois on the throw-in. Northern in white, Southern in red. Southern now mounting an attack if they hustle. This is Nishbach. And Nishbach too far for him. Krebs Haller there beats him to it. And back it goes to Marcus Roy. Marcus, along with brothers Karsten and Willie, went to Fenton High School out there. All of them, either all-state or all-conference choices. And really quite a nucleus to build this team around. But there's a lot more talent there in addition to the Roys.
Goal kick. SIU Edwardsville.
And from SIU's standpoint, they've got that whole St. Louis area to draw from, and they have drawn from it extensively.
Well, there's a great, we see a shot of the SIU bench. There's a great wealth of talent in the St. Louis area, and you'll see a lot of St. Louis players in the SIU Edwardsville program, University of Missouri St. Louis, UMSL, obviously St. Louis University, Washington University in St. Louis has a good program up and coming, so there's Ty Keogh, I believe, the ex-Billiken for St. Louis U and the ex-professional with the Steamers and a few other teams, the old St. Louis Stars. He's coaching there. There's a lot of schools there to draw from this great wealth of talent in the St. Louis area.
Steve Abel, number 16, clearing it for Southern, but clearing it too far over the touchline, and it'll come back. Headed away by Southern, and again we get a whistle, and it will come back to Northern.
Cougar foul, Husky free kick.
Preben Halle will take the kick. This is Tony Adolphs for Northern. Gets it to Sparacino. Coming down here is Adolphs. Crossing Adolphs. And just missing back behind the goal. Was Tony Adolphs defending by Steve Abel. Good chance for Northern right here.
It was a good chance for Northern. You see a little 1-2 there with, I believe it's Sparacino on the outside. He turns, shields defender away, takes a nice right-footed shot, but not on target. That was a nice opportunity for Northern that went awry, Mike.
Janie Saddle back in the game for Southern. Saddle got a goal last night in the semifinal, his first of the season. Colley whams it out of there for Southern, and back it comes. Nothing but white jerseys. Intended up for Corno, and knocked away in there by Stone. Colley, this is Hausman, number 7 for Southern. Getting it across to Walton. Walton trying to get it up the right side, looking for Saddle. Saddle coming across, centering. Demtrack, number 6, had a shot at it, but out it comes. Willie Roy Jr. now trying to take it down the other way. Lechner up to Karsten Roy, and Northern on the attack here. It's John Lechner. Knopf on the mark. And over the inline it goes. And I believe, wait for the ball here, we'll get just the throw-in for Northern. Did not go over the inline. This is Lechner, marked by Knopf. And that is Berry taking it away.
Northern Illinois, throw-in.
You're looking at Fickery, Wally Fickery, sophomore. Down to Lechner, and Lechner is fouled in there by number 21, Brad Hilke, and Lechner is down.
Well, that had to hurt. Here's the replay, Mike. You see he's trying to shield the defender away from the ball, and Lechner takes a big spill with a little bit of help from Mr. Brad Hilke.
And Hilke got a yellow card for his pains, or the pains he inflicted.
That was a pretty violent charge from the back, and especially with the official right there. He does have an option, of course, of not to lay the card on there, but I would guess with a foul like that, 8 out of 10 times, you're going to get whistled. Here's one more look at this. And that's a pretty violent charge, and he gave him a real nice shot. Here comes a two-man wall up for SIU on the direct kick.
53-17, the time of the yellow card, as Northern trying to get it through, and cleared well by Southern. Back it comes to the defense, out it goes into the crowd. Demtrack.
Cougar, throw-in.
There's Stone. Stone with what proved to be the game winner last night in the shootout. You know, normally in college play, it's just 2 10-minute overtime periods, and the game's considered a tie if no one scores after the periods are complete. But obviously in a tournament situation, you've got to go into a shootout, and that's what they had last night. So
right, that was for the purposes of advancement, Mike. You need to have some kind of way to break a tie.
That's true. You can't play 2-on-1 in the final, can you?
Otherwise, those two teams might have still been out here by the time the dawn broke this morning.
Well, I'll tell you, the way they're going, they may be out here well into the evening. Coming through now for Northern Illinois. Down on the left side, Kelly. And John Kelly has it go too far from him. Trying to take the pass from Jimmy Corno, who is coming down the center.
Kelly's doing some nice work on the wing. I think earlier I had identified, we see a shot of Ed Huneke, the Southern coach, who's got to be a little concerned at this point. His team has not has not brought one on the board yet. Earlier I think I misidentified Kelly as Jim Pisani when he worked the 1-2 in the middle, and the Huskies had a chance, although the shot did go wide. But Kelly is staying wide. He's getting some he's creating some space for himself and trying to make something happen out there.
Kelly, one of the freshman recruits here from Lake Park High School.
Excuse me,
Go
Mike.
ahead,
I was going to say, I think the eyes are going. I thought a 5 was a 7, so I tell you, maybe we're too high up here.
Only when you're rolling the dice.
Jeez.
34:45 to go. In regulation, we start to say it that way. Bart Berry will take the throw in here for the Cougars. Being pressed by Willie Roy Jr. on the mark. And back it comes to Northern. Down into the penalty area, turn around with the kick. Looked like Lechner got it.
SIU Edwardsville. Also coming up on the Husky calendar, October 8th and 9th.
John Lechner on the spin around kick there, well wide of the goal, and Range will get a goal kick out of there for Southern. 34 minutes to go, no score. Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, the Huskies and the Cougars here on Sports Vision. Tim Colley's an interesting story, number 12 for Southern. Started out here, then he transferred to a college in Missouri, Florissant Valley Community. Can't say I've been there too often, but then he came back to Southern. Here we get a trip on Jim Corno, so Hausman will take it, and he does right away. Anyway, Colley came back, and here he is playing back again with SIU. 21 Hilke. Hausman. Corno gets it out of there, and we will get a throw-in for Southern Illinois.
Actually, Mike, Flow Valley, as they call it down there in the St. Louis area, has a great history as a junior college soccer program. I can recall in my years at Northern, I believe we scrimmaged them pre-season a couple of times, and they have some good ball players. You might say, well, junior college, how good can they be? But there's some great players that come out of that program. I believe Steve Petcher played at Flow Valley for a couple of years, and of course soccer fans remember him from his Dallas Tornado days and his days with the Steamers.
And it goes, and Marcus Roy making the save on the shot. Shot by Saddle. Down it comes. Here comes Lechner. Lechner with a one-on-one, and Lechner has it knocked away, and knocked away very nicely by Chris Knopf. Willie Roy looking on. And Knopf may have turned his ankle on that. Knopf's job was to mark Lechner, and right there, Lechner had his best chance, but Knopf stayed with him, stride for stride.
Great counterattack by the Huskies, Mike, after a nice save by Marcus Roy on a slip header, we call it, where the ball skims off the top of an attacker's head. Roy made a nice save, got the ball out quickly, and the Huskies had a nice counterattack coming the other way. Good defense by the Cougars. We're still at 0-0.
Northern trying to keep the pressure on here with the throw-in. Sparacino. And it goes out of bounds over the touchline. Hausman will throw it in. Under 32 minutes in regulation here.
That's the kind of goal that can really break your back, Mike. You're hammering away at the other end, and all of a sudden the ball passes everyone, basically, and you only have one man to beat, and it slips in against you, and you're beating your head against the wall saying, you know, what does it take? I'm knocking on the door at the other end, and here they come down and sneak one by us. So I think Ed Huneke, the coach of the Cougars, feels he might have dodged a bullet there.
Thursday night at 6:30, Sports Vision starts an amazing season of NHL hockey. At 6:30, the New Jersey Devils face off against the Philadelphia Flyers. Then at 9:30, Wayne Gretzky makes his NHL debut as a Los Angeles King as the Kings battle the Detroit Red Wings. It's an outstanding doubleheader live Thursday night beginning at 6:30 here on Sports Vision. It still feels very strange to say Wayne Gretzky of the LA Kings.
Well, they're smiling in L.A. and they're crying in Edmonton.
Oh, they've been crying a lot in Canada lately, right? And not just in Edmonton. 30 minutes, 45 seconds to go in regulation. And Hilke with the ball for Southern, taken away by Fickrey. Fickrey getting it up to Karsten Roy. Roy has it knocked away in there by Colley. Looking for Kelly. It's Kelly and Colley, and either way, right now, we had an opportunity there. Northern Illinois could not convert.
Nice defense by Colley. Stuck a foot in the way of of a shot by Carson Roy that looked like it was going to be on goal.
Colley, Kelly, and this is Holla. Lechner chasing it out over the goal line. And this will be a corner kick for the Huskies, our first of the afternoon, with just about an hour of playing time gone.
That ball went off Tim Colley again. He's in the Johnny on the spot there, in the right place at the right time for the Cougars. Here comes an in-swinger. Let's see what the Huskies do with this.
And it goes, headed to Pisani, and over the touchline.
Husky throwing.
Fickery will throw it in for Northern.
I think Hausman got ahead on that corner, Mike, and slip-headed it out of trouble.
And we get a whistle against Southern, and it will be a free kick for Northern. Northern putting the pressure on here as we go under 30 minutes left in regulation time. Certainly for either team, one goal will be a very formidable lead. Karsten Roy will kick it for Northern. Karsten had been a stopper back or a sweeper back playing in the midfield last night and tonight. Had 2 goals last night in the semi. Here he is in the final trying to get something going. Prebz Halle sent it up and over looking for Kelly. Kelly marked by Knopf over the end line and will get...
Looks like a goal kick.
It'll be a goal kick for... Thanks, Pete. It'll be a goal kick for SIUE.
Northern tried to work a corner out of this ball. It was kind of a wall pass, a 1-2 as the players say. And as they battle for the ball, I believe the official feels it came off the Northern player, number 5, John Kelly. So Huskies were looking for a couple corners in a row there, Mike, and didn't get it. Here comes a goal kick for the Cougars.
28:30 to go. Tim Colley takes it. Stone, number 10. And knocked away by Karsten Roy. It will be a throw-in for SIU Edwardsville, or SIUE. Stone keeping possession. Saddle. Colley keeping the pressure on here, but now Northern's got it, looking up for Lechner. No call, he may be onside. He tips it. A goal!
Husky goal.
John Lechner.
Great effort by Lechner, Mike. Here in the replay, you see the ball flip forward, and I believe SIU was looking for an offside call. Hard to tell from our angle whether or not the man was in an offside or onside position when the ball was played, but as he comes out, the keeper comes out a little late. He's able to get a foot in and loft it over, bounces just in front of the line and just under the crossbar. So a great effort by Mr. John Lechner.
Lechner, his 6th goal of the season. That leads the club. Total of 14 points to go with his 2 assists for Karsten Roy. His first assist of the season, and once again, moving Karsten Roy from the defense to midfield has paid off for Northern. So the Huskies are on the board with 27:45 to go here in regulation play.
Carson's making his dad, Willie, look like a genius by moving him to the midfield. 2 goals last night, an assist right here, and if the Huskies can hang on, this will be, as we said earlier, a great feather in the cap for NIU.
Correct first name, Karsten Roy, the assist.
1-0 Northern Illinois over SIU Edwardsville. Southern, the number 15 or 17 ranked team in the nation. Northern right now is looking to even its record at 500. This is Colley. And Southern obviously has got to put some pressure on now to tie this thing up.
Mike, as excited as Willie Roy is about that goal, I'm sure in the back of his mind he's saying, well, did we score too early? You know, there's 27 minutes roughly left in the game, and that can be that can seem like 10 years when you're defending a 1-0 lead against a team like SIU Edwardsville. The key, I think, for Northern is not to lay back and try to defend, but to continue moving forward, continue playing as they have, and keep the pressure on the Cougars.
Whistle against Southern. Northern Illinois will work it up the field again. Frank Sparacino, number 7, and that is Pisani, number 6, Kelly, number 5. There are a lot of very happy folks, members of the Northern Illinois football team. Boy, they're having a tremendous season. 4-1, winning yesterday.
And not too far away from 5-0. Believe me, they gave Minnesota a real tangle in the hump dome.
That's right. Very close to 5-0. Minnesota had to come from far back to win that one. This is Lechner again.
Goal kick, Cougars.
Lechner, who scored one last night, gets the one tonight. 6 goals on the season. He is the leading scorer on this team with a total of 14 points. Sortino, number 14 for Southern. This is Colley setting it up.
Vincent Matthews.
Matthews also checks in for the Huskies, Mike. I'll tell you, on that goal by Lechner, he won a foot race with the goalkeeper, and in defense of the keeper, I don't think he really knew how high that ball was going to bounce. It's a tough thing to get adjusted to. This is his first game on turf this season, and he didn't play it real well.
And Lechner, Ed Huneke was saying before the game, he feels he is the #1 offensive threat of Northern, and that's no secret. I mean, all-state performer, 2-time All-Central Suburban North player when he played up at Waukegan West. And obviously looked at as instant offense. Here comes Karsten Roy, and Karsten Roy's got a shot. Good save in there by Range. Karsten right on goal, and Range was equal to the task. An excellent save by Steve Range.
Great save by Range, and boy, that was a great opportunity for Northern to go up 2-0. He was in close. He had plenty of time. He kept the ball low on the turf, but Range came out nicely, and that time got down very quickly down to his left and got it out of trouble.
Northern still in the attacking zone. Goes out of play, and Southern will get the ball. This is Berry with the throw in. 24 minutes, 10 seconds to go in regulation. Northern Illinois looking for its second Governor's Cup championship, looking for a big win against an highly ranked SIU Edwardsville team. Right now is ahead. SIU looking to put the pressure on here. Saddle gets it over on the right wing. Sparacino for Northern, working along with Nisbach. Nisbach, the sophomore. Sparacino, the freshman. And here is Marcus Roy.
Smart move by Marcus Roy. Came way out of his goal to help Sparacino out in the corner and said, here, give me the ball. It's in my arms. It's going to be out of trouble. And that was a smart play.
Marcus Roy played with the under-17 select USA team. A lot of experience with some of these kids, even though they're young. Hausman has it taken away. Sent up again. Pisani hits the post.
Actually,
it was Willie Roy Jr.
Actually, the defensive player for the Cougars who came across to clear the ball away hit the post, Mike. That ball was going in, and he came in.
Knopf.
He came in shot out of a cannon. It's a great effort by Knopf to clear that ball off the line. That would have been 2-0 the Huskies. They're really putting it to the Cougars right now. They're not sitting back. They're pressing forward. It could very easily be 3-0 right now. Here comes the corner swinging in.
Willie Roy Jr. headed by Lechner up and over. Beautiful play worked by Northern. Time of the goal from Lechner, 62:01. And Karsten Roy getting the assist on it.
There we had a good shot at Tom Stone jogging up the field, shaking his head. The Northern Huskies are really putting it to the Cougars, as I said earlier. And that was an uncontested header there by Lechner. He went up with no one on him. Had a lot of force behind the ball, but luckily for the Cougars, it went over the crossbar. They're really putting pressure on here, Mike.
Adolph's keeping the ball in. Here comes Southern Illinois now. Stone driving it down, looking for Garofalo. Check it for Jay Demtrack. Well, without trying to belabor the point too much, there could certainly be a fatigue factor here. As we mentioned, Northern playing on its home field, played the early game in the rain, had an easy game. Southern Illinois had a tough overtime shootout match, which didn't end until after 11 o'clock, and here they are back again with kickoff about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I think that's something that Ed Huneke was very worried about. If Northern, I think his feeling was if Northern's still in the game as the clock's winding down in the second half, he could be in a real dogfight. He would have loved nothing more, Mike, than to have had a couple of goals in the first half and bring in some of the subs and substitute freely to keep his guys fresh for the second half, but he hasn't had that luxury, Northern with a 1-0 lead.
Colley will take the kick here. Clock now showing a little less than 21 minutes in regulation. Headed back in there by Northern, looking for Lechner on the right wing. And the race won in there by, it's like Colley again.
Goal kick, SIUE.
And Colley will boot it out of there for SIU Edwardsville. 1-0 Northern Illinois. This is the finals of the Governor's Cup. Jimmy Corno coming back in. Frank Sparacino takes a seat on the Northern Illinois bench. Willie Roy has also been doing quite liberal substituting, although Willie has used many more combinations this season than, say, Southern has. You can see the clock there. About 20 minutes to go here in regulation.
And it can't tick down any faster for Willie Roy. I'm sure he's watching that clock every few seconds. Again, the magic of the Olympic years here may work for the Huskies, Mike. They last won the tournament in '84 when they were hosts for the first win ever in the Governor's Cup Series. Now they're going for win number 2.
Berry over the back, a foul on Southern, so Northern Illinois, Karsten Roy will take the kick. Gets it over on the side. This is Sparacino, Frank Sparacino, working it around. Knocked away by Saddle, and this is Tony Adolphs. Adolphs trying to get it to Karsten Roy, and check that to Pisani, and Pisani looking for Junior Matthews on his left wing. Shot it wide.
Southern Illinois University Edwardsville goal kick.
A lot of clouds. It's fall. There's a look at the stadium, the press box area. And a lot of thick clouds, but no rain today. Under 20 minutes to go now in regulation play. Northern Illinois in white, Southern Illinois Edwardsville in red. Now we'll wait for the call here. It will be a Northern Illinois throw-in.
Husky throw-in.
Fickery will take it. And Fickery trying to get it in, and we get the foul called on Northern Illinois on Pisani.
Free kick, Cougars.
And Southern will take it.
We certainly have seen momentum change, Mike, obviously from the point where Northern scored the first and only goal of the game at this point. They since then have had a couple of great chances and continue to look for more, which is what they need to do as opposed to sitting back and trying to protect the lead.
Junior Matthews and Stone dueling. This is Stone with the ball right here, and Matthews keeps coming on after him. Back it comes to Knopf, and Willie Roy Jr. riding on Knopf, and will get a whistle. It will be against Northern Illinois, and possession for Southern.
Trip and foul, SIU Edwardsville, free kick.
Colley will take it. Colley, the junior from St. Louis. It's almost a redundancy to say where the SIU players are from, nearly all from St. Louis.
Cougar throw-in.
Comes, it'll be a throw-in here for Stone of Southern. Under 18 minutes to go. And it comes gotten out of there by Karsten Roy with a booming shot. Goes back to range. Clock continues to move.
Cougars have got an uphill climb, Mike. They're against the wind. Obviously, they're against the wall with a 1-0, facing a 1-0 deficit here.
Now they have some movement. Stone here. Centering across, looking inside for Demtrack, and it goes over the goal line, over the end line. Nishbach missing wide to the right.
A little bit of a gift there from the Huskies. The Cougars are going to get a corner out of this, Mike. Ball was actually miskicked by Southern, and a Northern player stuck a leg out to make sure it didn't come across the goal mouth, and it squirted over the end line. So we've got a SIU corner.
Brad Hilke will kick it.
There's Ed Hunnicky, obviously very concerned here. The clock's winding, and he's down a goal.
Hilke, the left-footed kicker. A good play in there by Northern to break that one up before it got anywhere near.
Jim Corno got his back in the way and deflected the ball out of trouble.
Back comes Southern, keeping up the pressure. Stone Taken away in there by Willie Jr. And Fickery will throw in.
Well, Fickery came in strong there, Mike. The ball was touched a little lightly off of Willie Roy, and it was purely a 50-50 ball, and Fickery gave it everything he had and got a throw-in out of it.
Northern Illinois.
Well, we'll do it again. Make plans to be with Sports Vision on Saturday at 11 a.m. It's live college football as Penn State plays host to the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Then at 7, the Blackhawks take the ice on their first road trip as they battle the Toronto Maple Leafs. And top off your day beginning at 10:30 when Francis Pay and the Northwestern Wildcats take on the Minnesota Gophers. Don't miss it this Saturday. And Ted Albrecht and I will be out there at the Hump Dome, the Metrodome, the Hubert H. Humphrey Dome, call it what you will, the Roller Dome, to bring you Northwestern and Minnesota. Action continues here. Northern leading 1-0. Garofalo losing it.
Cougar throwing.
But it will remain in Southern Illinois Edwardsville's possession. 15 minutes now left to go in regulation. 1-0 NIU. Coming over here to number 6, Demtrack. Jay Demtrack. And Holly gets it over to Marcus Roy. Marcus Roy, again, very few saves, but he has played an alert game in the nets, and they're still there with their sunglasses.
They're totally in the shade now, Mike. I don't know why we need the shades, but they're on.
Looking for Pisani, and range is there. 14.5 minutes to go.
Nice kick by Marcus Roy with the wind at his back. He can afford to just let it fly and let that clock work its magic.
This is Halle, and Halle sends it almost too far to Marcus Roy's left.
Little lackadaisical there. I think Willie would like to see that a more controlled, a sharper pass to Marcus. He had to really sprint off of his position to go save that ball from a corner. You don't want to give away unnecessary corner kicks, obviously, when you can help it, and that was a heads-up play by Marcus Roy.
Berry getting it, but it's taken by Northern. Karsten Roy at midfield, and Berry will let it go out of bounds over the touchline, and Southern will get a throw-in with 13 minutes 40 seconds to go in regulation. Here it comes. Intended for Hilke, taken away by Northern. Centered in front. Taken back by Southern. Here comes Lechner, number 9. Saddle going around Corno. And Jamie Saddle on a nice run here, being marked by Willie Roy. And Saddle and Fickery go down, and the call goes against Saddle. It'll be a yellow card, too, against Saddle.
Well, I'll tell you, Saddle really saddled him here, Mike. And
he rode him.
He wrestled him to the ground with an arm, it looks like, and the official, of course, being right on the play. Here you see Saddle beating a Northern defender. Fickery comes in, plays the ball nicely, and here you see the left, I believe the left arm of Saddle go around Wally Fickery and haul him down. Actually, Fickery landed on top of Saddle, so not only did Saddle get squashed, he also picked up a card for his trouble.
76:52, the time of the yellow card. 12 minutes 50 seconds left to go in regulation, and here once again, this is Colley. Check it, it's Bart Berry for Southern. And we get the collision. No call here. And this is Colley, number 12. Good footwork by Colley. Colley wrestling with Fickery, and Fickery knocks it away, but it'll be a throw-in for Southern Illinois. And it comes behind the defense, but kicked out of there. Looked like Karsten Roy got a foot on it. And all the way down it comes to range.
Well, that shows that the Cougars will feel like they're under pressure a little bit. When you send a ball back to your keeper from the midfield spot, you're really playing it as safe as you can, and you're worried about who's around you. So that's an indicator that Northern's still putting it to Southern pretty well here.
Stone, number 10, has it taken away by Northern. Over on the right side, Garofalo. And in it comes to center. Headed out of there by Fickery. Good play by Fickery once again. And Karsten Roy gets it up and over. Saddle keeping it in. Here comes Marcus Roy. He's got company, and Marcus Roy alertly making the stop.
Nice exit
deep it goes, headed for Lechner, but it goes right to his opponent.
Excuse me, Mike. That was a nice exit there by Marcus Roy, and the ball was off his hands a little bit. That was a very dangerous play. The ball came off Vickery's head and bounced high, the same type of thing that beat Steve Range when the Huskies scored, when Lechner was able to beat him on a high bouncing ball. That's the oddity of the AstroTurf, and that's something that's a little bit hard for these keepers to deal with. It could be a real dangerous thing when that ball bounces hard off the turf in front of the goal.
Here comes Knopf on a run, and Knopf looking up the field for Demchak.
NIU.
And over the touchline, you can see Junior Matthews. They turn around and they head the other way. This is Matthews taking the throw in. And Southern Illinois' Demchak takes it away, looking to center, but Adolphs clears it from trouble. Karsten Roy. And Karsten looking for Willie Roy. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go. We get an offside call as Matthews, streaking down the right wing, was whistled for the offside.
Well, I think we had two Huskies offside there. Lechner in the center of the field was also offside. So that time the offside trap, if you will, by the Cougars worked. I think when Lechner scored at that point, it didn't work.
The intentional offside move. Here is Saddle again coming down, looking for Demchak, and Demchak in front. Southern Illinois in front. The shot blocked in there by Halle. Again, a shot saved by Roy. Good action in front of the NIU goal. Good stop in there for Demchak, and Demchak has it saved by Roy.
Great flurry there, Mike.
Best action of the afternoon.
Marcus Roy is called on to make 3 saves. The initial save he's not able to hang on to, and it comes back out. Another shot is parried away. That's a great blast and a good save. And then the third attempt again, he's able to be there. So that's a sign of a good keeper who can make a couple of tough saves and then hang on and allow no rebounds.
Super back pass in there. I believe it came off the foot of Nishbach, but the shot from Demchak was right on, and Marcus Roy had a couple of tough ones, 2 or 3, right in a row, and proved equal to the task. Under 9 minutes now in regulation. There's some good soccer action.
There's Willie. He's glad they weathered that storm. And he's got to wonder what the Cougars have left in the last 8:45, Mike.
Right now, Northern's got the ball with Junior Matthews in there, has a shot. Junior Matthews lets it go, a goal!
Oh, great ball by Junior Matthews.
The man is explosive, and Junior Matthews is known for that kind of instant offense, and he does it right here.
Well, he sure did it on his own. He beats a defender, looks up, has great composure, sees the keeper come out, and just floats one over on to the keeper's right, to the far side. Great shot.
Looked like he beat Tim Colley over there. Colley on the defense went for the tackle, and Matthews just would have none of it, and a beautiful right-footed shot boomed right through. Range didn't have a shot on that one, didn't have a prayer on that one.
No real chance for Steve Range. He was out there by himself. Matthews had beaten the last defender. And now I think that shows a senior's composure, Mike. You know, a couple of years ago he might have blasted that ball wide or over the bar. This time he looked up, saw what the goalkeeper was doing, took his time and placed the ball nicely. I'm sure that makes up for him hitting the post against DePaul.
Well, Vincent Matthews gets the goal. Matthews' second goal of the season. He's got a total of 5 points, and none has been bigger than this one. Here is Junior again. He's got Jerry Przinski in there with him. Przinski onside. Przinski just into the game, looking to center here. Przinski gets it partially deflected by the defense, by Knopf. And Chris Knopf has the ball right here. This is Hausman, number 7. Northern Illinois is very much in the driver's seat right now after the insurance goal off the foot of Vincent Junior Matthews. His second of the season, give him 5 points for the year. And you can look at the clock for yourself. Under 8 minutes to go.
Nothing fluky at all about that goal, Mike. It was a well-taken shot. And again, Steve Range, the goalkeeper for the Cougars, was left defenseless.
Northern Illinois University.
Jamie Saddle, number 4, a good look at him.
81-22 into the contest. Unassisted goal by Vincent Matthews.
You can hear the public address. Steve Nemeth on the PA. Unassisted goal for Matthews. The time at 81-22. So 2 scores here in the second half by Northern Illinois have put the home team fairly comfortably in the driver's seat with under 7 minutes to go in the finals of the Governor's Cup. Looking for Corno down in the left corner, and Corno makes a nice play to get there, but the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be a Husky throw-in. Clock continues to tick away. If, and I say if, Northern Illinois wins this, it will mark only the second time in 14 meetings between these two teams in this tournament that Northern has beaten Southern.
This is a very big win for the Huskies if they can hang on, Mike. I'd love to say that one of the Northern clubs I played on in the 4 years beat an SIU team, but I can't say that. There have not been a whole lot of wins on the Husky side of the ledger versus the Cougars, so this is a very big win. It's going to rank up there with in the top 1 or 2 wins in the program. I'd have to say that.
Well, it's Jim Corno getting a breather. Kelly's played a fine game at the midfield spot. John Kelly, the freshman, comes in replacing Corno. Action again down in the SIUN. The shot by Pisani, knocked away by Cage. And Pisani was close on goal there, and this will be a throw-in for NIU.
Nice save by Range. He showed some good athletic ability there, stuck a right hand out and parried it around the post.
5.5 to go now. Northern Illinois 2, Southern Illinois Edwardsville nothing. Colley gets fouled by Northern, so they'll get the kick. And they've got to make something happen now, and quickly. They've been shut out. Stone. Ollie beats Nishbach to it, and once again, Marcus Roy will kick it away.
Going back in history, Mike, Husky soccer fans will have to rank this win up with probably the other Governor's Cup championship in '84 here at Husky Stadium, and possibly before that, going back to '73 when the Huskies beat University of Wisconsin Green Bay for the school's first ever NCAA tournament bid. But again, this has got to rank right up there with those victories.
Pisani looking for the shot, but we get the offsides against Northern Illinois. 4.5 minutes to go. That's Tim Colley close to you. Taking the kick will be Chris Knopf. Again, a whistle. It'll go in SIU Edwardsville's direction.
Northern Illinois push and foul. Cougar free kick.
Cougar kick. Up it comes. Colley and Knopf trying to work. Taken away by Fickrey, and Wally Fickrey gets it up to Pisani. 4 minutes now, under 4 minutes to go. Matthews has it knocked away. And Southern is moving now with desperation. Hausman knocked back by Karsten Roy all the way back to Range. And Knopf. And we get a push and a foul against, looks like Lechner.
Northern Illinois push and foul. Cougar free kick.
Well, to their credit, the Huskies are still hustling after every ball. They're not letting Southern get any kind of a break. They're going for everything out there. And I think it's a sign of a well-coached team when you don't sit back and try to protect the lead, especially against the teams in the top 15 in the country. Normally you would think, hey, we get a goal, let's defend like heck now and not let them in. But they press forward, got the insurance goal, and they're looking real strong.
Under 3 minutes, as you can see. Well, I'd say I have a lot of problems with any of that prevent defense, whether it's in soccer, football, ice hockey. You know, you're doing something well, you're making something happen, and you get a lead, and then you say, okay, we'll just play defensively, and the next thing you know, the other team has come back to score. How many times in a football situation have you seen a team just march down the field and turn the game around against a prevent defense?
It's a good point, Mike. And in soccer, though, it's so easy to do that. You just bring a couple people back and pack the box, and there's just so many bodies in there, it's hard for anything to happen.
Kick is wide by Stone.
Goal kick, Northern Illinois.
And there's some of the souvenirs of a battle. That's Willie Roy.
To the Husky lineup, number
Took a
23,
kick
Mike
in that
Scavarla.
right calf. And this is Mike Scavarla, number 23, who's coming into the game for Northern from Naperville North. He scored last night, his first action.
Wearing jersey number 13, James
And this is James Ehrlich from Rockford Boylan coming in for Willie Roy in the final 2 minutes. So Willie obviously getting some of the younger players in is saying, okay, it's over. But against a team like this, you just wonder if anything even with under 2 minutes is a little premature. Garofalo getting it in. Looking for Hausman. There's Hausman, number 7, broken up by Matthews. 1:35 to go. Out over the goal line, and it will be a goal kick for Northern.
Matthews showing some good hustle, coming back and defending, and I think that's been the key to Northern success is their forwards have come back to help defend. They've been very tough defensively, very strong in the back, and I'm sure Willie likes seeing that, likes seeing his players become total players and playing everywhere, all over the field.
Well, they've got this one. They have got themselves a Governor's Cup as we go under a minute. It will be only their second Governor's Cup victory in the history of the tournament, which spans 17 years, and their first in 4 years. We get a foul here on Northern Illinois against Matthews, and we get the kick here from Colley with 45 seconds to go in the game.
Four-man wall, Mike. Four-man wall.
Garofalo will take it as Colley clears out of there. You take a look at the wall. And wham, right into it. And Scavarla, Mike Scavarla coming and making a good play. Good save in there by Marcus Roy. And Marcus Roy turning back possibly the last charge from Southern Illinois.
Nice save on a tough shot. He had the angle cut right, was in the right spot at the right time.
Hausman on the kick.
Used his body well.
10 seconds to go. This is it. And you can hear the crowd. There's the final throw in. 3 seconds to go. 2, and that'll do it.
The final score, your Northern Illinois University.
Big win for the Huskies, Mike. Big win. I've got to believe this upset here is obviously going to hurt Ed Hunnicky, and you see Ed there obviously not real happy. This is going to hurt his chances. It's going to hurt his ranking, that's for sure. I'm sure they'll tumble out of the top 20. And it's a great day for Northern soccer. Here's a replay on the last bit of action on the Northern goal. You see a hard shot coming off the Southern Illinois outside winger, and Marcus Roy's in the right spot there, makes a nice save, and has presence of mind to get up and pick up the loose change. There you see the Huskies waving to their fans. A great day for Northern soccer.
Sure is. The Huskies acknowledge the home crowd and shake hands with the Southern Illinois Cougars. And that's it. From here, 2-0 the final. Northern Illinois the winner and the champions in the Governor's Cup 1988. We'll take a break and be back to wrap things up from DeKalb after this.
In 1895, the Northern Illinois State Normal School was chartered, its sole function to educate many of the state's teachers. Over 100 years and 3 name changes later, Northern Illinois University has grown from 173 students and a single building to a campus with more than 25,000 students and 50 major buildings, covering 460 acres. Northern Illinois University offers numerous academic programs through its colleges of business, education, engineering and engineering technology, liberal arts and sciences, visual and performing arts, professional studies, and the graduate school. The College of Law awards degrees to more than 75 graduates each year, and the College of Continuing Education offers one of the Midwest's largest credit and non-credit programs. We've grown from a small state normal school to a large respected research university. Dedicated to excellence, Northern Illinois University.
Get your sports news early Sunday nights. Watch the Chicago Sun-Times Sports Week, the only live primetime sports show in Chicago. Every Sunday, it's 1 hour of complete coverage of your favorite Chicago teams. But you get more than just the highlights. You'll meet Chicago's best athletes and key sports figures, plus receive expert analysis from Sun-Times writers and Sports Week correspondents. You don't have to stay up late anymore for the sports news. Watch the Chicago Sun-Times Sports Week, right here Sunday nights on Sports Vision.
Northern Illinois 2, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville nothing. The winners of the 17th Governor's Cup here at Northern Illinois were the Huskies, the home team, and they won it last in 1984 when they played here the last time in this tournament. Pete, a real good win for Willie Roy, the whole program, not taking anything away from SIU. Of course, they did have to turn around and play on a strange field. They were tired, but hey, a win's a win.
And that's a big win for the NIU program. Now Willie Roy can go down to St. Louis, recruit, and say, look, we beat one of the better clubs around, SIU Edwardsville. All the kids in St. Louis, of course, know the program SIU has. It's a big feather in the cap.
Both goals coming in the second half. John Lechner from Karsten Roy, his 6th of the season. That broke the ice, proved to be the game winner. But then at 81 minutes in, Junior Matthews got a beautiful breakaway and worked his magic.
Well, Junior beats the defense, wins the ball, and shows a lot of composure. I think I mentioned a senior's composure. He looks up. He knows what the goalkeeper's doing. The keeper for the Cougars, Steve Range, has no chance. The ball is kicked to his right, up and into the corner. Just a great goal by Matthews.
Well, for a team that was really having problems scoring, the previous 3 games to this tournament, they scored a total of 1 goal. They came back last night. They scored 5 in defeating the defending champion Western Illinois team. And here this afternoon with a really tough defensive posture, also a very good offensive play in the second half, taking a team ranked 15th or 17th, take your pick nationally, and beating them convincingly.
Well, they sure are. I don't know if we can give all the credit to Karsten Roy in the midfield, but some goals are happening now that he's there. So we'll see. I'm sure Willie will probably try to keep him in there and try to create more scoring opportunities. On the defensive side, they played nice and tight. Marcus Roy made some great saves to keep him in it, and it's a great win.
I'd like to thank also the athletic departments, the athletic information people, the SIDs, sports information directors, both at Northern Illinois and Southern Illinois Edwardsville. Peter, we'll see us next time, right?
I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Our next college soccer event will be Wednesday, October 12th, when Northern Illinois travels to Evanston to take on the Northwestern Wildcats. The executive producer for today's game has been Danny DiCarlo. Today's game has been produced and directed by Mike Lear. Remote facilities provided by Group W Cable of Chicago. I'm Mike Learman saying goodbye. Once again, the final score, Northern Illinois 2, Southern Illinois Edwardsville nothing. The preceding